Should you quit social media? Should you quit Instagram? And should you quit watching my channel? Because, after all, social media will just destroy you, right? Well, in this video, I'll address my insights that I have about this topic. Some people DM me some stuff that I just want to talk about, because going about this whole social media thing with the wrong mindset can actually not only destroy you, it can actually destroy your long-term growth, which is probably what you want. And, most importantly, you should use that information to, keep a sane mind with this whole thing, because after all, your mind is pretty important. Welcome back, my friends. My name is Dominic, and usually we talk about how great social media is, how great Instagram is, how you can actually grow your Instagram, and how you can actually generate a full-time income from just a small Instagram audience, for example. But today we're talking about quite the opposite, my friends. It's actually about the whole mindset. It's actually about how you go about growing an account, because there's lots of people rambling about how bad social media is, how it destroys you psychologically and all of that. And actually, they're somewhat right. But actually, it's not the fault of social media. It's actually the fault of the people themselves. But let me tell you why and how you can use that information to grow sustainably, my friends. If you've been watching my channel for the last couple of months, you should know that this whole social media thing is some sort of a long-term thing. You have to have somewhat of a strategy. You have to plan for the long term. It's a long-term thing. And this whole social media thing is actually a very new form of communication. It's something that has only evolved in the last couple of years and will probably evolve a lot more. I always compare it with, back in the caveman days when they did not have any language yet, and all of a sudden they had the sophisticated language. All of a sudden they could talk to each other, they could speak, they could use actually a unified language to, communicate. And this is kind of like the same thing here. It's just a new channel of communication. People have to get adapted to it. People have to get the gist of it. It's going to evolve naturally, as it goes along. If you compare it to, back to the caveman days, for example, all of a sudden they had a language. But, with that language and with this new way to speak, all of a sudden they had something much more. They had the ability to lie. I don't think they had that before, where they just were doing, some gestures or whatever, or some... You never know, but I don't think they were able to really lie the way they could all of a sudden when they had this language. All of a sudden they could say, oh man, I could just totally lie to my neighbor and he doesn't know anything. Like, I could just tell him anything, because I just say it. And people believed whoever was lying just because they didn't know. Some people just had the evil minds, and some people just were just like, okay, I'm gonna lie to everyone. They're gonna believe me. It's all gonna be fine. And it was all going to be fine probably until a certain point when this whole thing evolved naturally, until a point where people just kind of knew, could kind of sense, okay, he's probably lying. And this whole concept is really important for this whole new social media thing, and we're gonna get into that in a little bit. So what I noticed is actually two different things here, my friends. First of all, people bury their egos into their social media presence. They kind of put an act together, a persona, and sometimes willingly, sometimes unwillingly, don't say it's not like that. And all of a sudden, your social media presence kind of gets its own dynamic. Is this really happening? All of a sudden you're like, should I post this? Because that way it doesn't really confirm with my social media personality. I probably won't get that many likes if I post that as opposed to that. And this is actually something really, really bad, especially when trying to building up your personal brand for the long term. Because first of all, it limits yourself, it limits your own personality into, it kind of traps yourself. And then on the other hand, you kind of develop some sort of a multiple personality disorder in a very far-fetched sense, if you know what I mean. Because all of a sudden you get these two personalities. There's the real you and there's the social media you. And the more you do on social media, the more the social media you is going to consume you. And this is what you don't want to happen at all, my friends. You want to be someone who's real on social media. You want to be someone who's the way he is on, say, social media. I know it's kind of hard sometimes even, because, you kind of get attached to all those likes, and all of a sudden you're kind of afraid of putting out something a little bit more personal, a little bit more real, You probably only show the best 2% anyway of your life, and then you're like, okay, if I show something that's really regular, I don't know if I should do that. And what happens is you're actually going to become two different people. Your real personality and your on-screen persona. And the thing that you really have to watch out for here is life is all about progressing. Life is all about, getting better in a sense and, working towards a goal. And unfortunately, it's in our DNA to, always take the path of least resistance, which in that sense, it's way easier to actually maintain your, social media persona. Not only because it's easier to only show 2%, the best 2% of your life anyway, it's also easier to straight out lie to people. And people are going to believe that you're going to get into this feedback loop, and all of a sudden you're kind of like, okay, if I lie, they actually believe me. It's actually a great thing. And this is where it gets really dangerous, but mainly not for the people that you lie to, because they will eventually get the hang of it. They will eventually know what's up. They will eventually bust you if you straight out lie to people or, distort the reality in some sort of way. It's actually really bad for your own mental health and all of that, for your mind, because basically when you lie to all those people, people inside the screen, actually you just lie to yourself. And this is not good for your mind at all. And if your mind doesn't work the right way, nothing's going to work at all, I tell you that. Right, so this is the message that I want to get across here in this video, because I kind of feel like this is becoming some sort of a rant here. There's so many people messaging me almost daily. Look at my engagement rate. My engagement is so low. My one post had only 5 comments instead of 20. What can I do differently? Man, it just sucks. Everything, my life sucks. Or I copied the exact same things that you did and I had 4% less engagement. What can I do? I just don't get it. There's something that you hide from me. I see people deleting their posts after a couple of minutes because it just doesn't do that well. And I see people clearly telling fake stories in order to create some sort of buzz, some sort of things to appear cooler, to appear more valuable on this thing called social media. So for all of you people that think I might be talking about them, it just does not matter, my friends. You can still go out on the streets even if your latest post only had half of your likes than usually. People are not going to, laugh at you at all. I know social media is becoming more and more of a big thing. It's a real thing, and you should keep that in mind. That's why you should probably subscribe, by the way, because we talk about that. But you don't have to take it that seriously, or you should not attach your whole ego to your social media profile, right? And if you lie to some people pretending to be someone you're not, it will probably only be a short-term thing, because people are, they kind of can sense that even in social media. And the more it progresses, the more people are going to be able to spot those fake people. By the way, Instagram fake bus, we're going to do another episode, I'm pretty sure, pretty soon. And if you notice that those things that I just talked about kind of bug you on a day-to-day basis, you should probably go ahead, take a break of this whole social media thing, go on vacation, go on the coolest vacation there is, do the coolest things you ever did, and just don't film it, don't take a picture, and don't tell anyone on social media about them. It will be really freeing. It will be really awesome. You will get it. Anyway, this minute I've kind of turned into some sort of a rant. Anyway, the point that I wanted to get across here is your social media journey. It's a long-term thing. It will be draining. It will be hard work. It's going to be about the journey, right? And if you fake and lie to people, that you're already on the top, at the top, you're kind of missing out in the journey, which is actually the most important thing. So you will never actually be as good, or you will never have that much whatever you want to get out of social media when you're just pretending to be someone. If you have the wrong mindset, if you kind of attach your ego to things, if you're not willing to lose some things, you will not be able to grow fast. You will not be able to grow far. You will not be able to make a career out of social media, I'll tell you that. And this has been really kind of a rant. Anyway, my name is Dominik. Usually we talk about the great things about social media. And yeah, my name is Dominik. I'll talk to you about something really awesome probably tomorrow in a couple of days. Anyway, bye-bye. Oh, follow me on Instagram. Follow me. Subscribe here on YouTube. I forgot that. And follow me on Instagram. And follow me on IGTV. Bye-bye.